You know, you guys, over the last couple of NFL seasons, if there's one thing that I've noticed that is almost guaranteed to happen with every single year, is that there is always going to be that one team that shocks the majority of the NFL world in terms of where they finish the year as opposed to their preseason expectations. And while I think we can all mutually agree that the Cincinnati Bengals were the front runner for this topic last year, and yes, I do know it is far too early in the season to crown anyone in this sense, but I do think it's about that time where we need to sit down and have a serious conversation about none other than the Detroit Lions. Because even though looking at this team from the outside, coming off of a 3-13-1 season, being 1-1 so far this year, with that one victory being over the Washington Commanders, just believe me when I say there is far more to this team than most people actually realize, and there's some things about this team that no one seems to be talking about, so let's get into it. One sec though, guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NFL video. Love you guys. We're going to continue to come out with brand new NFL content every single week as the season goes on, so trust me, you don't want to miss it. But anyway, let's get back on topic with the Detroit Lions, because, well, I have a feeling that some of you watching this video might have not seen a single snap from any of the Lions games so far this season. And if this is the case for you, I can definitely understand why. Because once again, coming off of their season last year, with having free agent acquisitions headlined by guys like DJ Chark and Khalif Raymond, aside from notable draft selections to watch like Hockenson or Jameson Williams, who is still recovering from injury and will not be on the field for some time still, there initially probably wasn't many standout reasons for a neutral NFL fan to keep their eye on Detroit. But what if I were to tell you, from what we've seen so far, that this Detroit Lions team might be in the middle of having one of the best bounce back seasons out of any team across the entire league right now? Well, I mean, regardless if you believe me or not, it sure as hell looks like it. Because out of everything this team improved on over the course of the 2022 offseason, the spotlight absolutely needs to shine on the outbreak this offense is currently seeing. Because while Detroit's offense was definitely not the biggest of their concerns over the course of the 2021 season, it was definitely still an area that they were looking to see some improvement in, as they ranked 22nd overall in total offense. And again, guys, I know that it's only been 2 games, but to say Detroit's offense has been exceeding their expectations throughout these 2 games would be the biggest understatement I think I've ever heard. Because as of right now, we're talking about a Lions offense that is ranked 4th overall in the NFL in yards per game, 3rd overall in rushing yards per game, 6th overall in yards per play, and even 2nd overall in the NFL in total points scored. And I mean, yeah, I did personally expect the Lions to take somewhat of a leap this year, but from what we've seen so far, it is far beyond anything I could have expected. And while it definitely should be mentioned and flowers need to be given to newly appointed offensive coordinator of the Lions, Ben Johnson, and what we've seen out of him so far, the majority of praise needs to be focused on the 2-man show in Detroit that is honestly somehow still underrated in running back DAndre Swift and seeming to be breakout wide receiver Amon-Ra St. And with both of these guys and each specific area of the offense, let's start with the run game. Because Detroit fans, I think that you can definitely testify to this, that a successful run game is something that you have not seen on your team in a very, very long time. And with the promise you've seen out of DAndre Swift and what he's been able to do over the course of the last 2 years prior, and also not to mention the running back insurance and dual threat you have with Jamaal Williams alongside him, it finally seems like everything is starting to click in this aspect of your offense, and again, the numbers can definitely back this up. But even aside from the team rushing statistics, it's looking like we're on pace to see a season from DAndre Swift that we never have before. As just for quick comparison, we can see in each of DAndre Swift's last 2 seasons, he rushed for 521 and 617 yards in 13 total games each year. And well, so far this year, he already has 200 total yards on just 20 attempts in 2 games. And believe me, I'm fully aware that the numbers on the ground might not stay as consistently dominant as we've seen so far for Detroit, but it's very clearly opening up the possibilities of this offense, and in turn as well, taking attention away from one of their other breakout areas areas we've seen so far, and that is in the pass game. Because again, going into this 2022 season with a wide receiver and tight end core consisting of guys like Amon-Ra, DJ Chark, Josh Reynolds, and of course TJ Hockenson, while I think it's safe to say many were just expecting to see continued improvement out of this core of guys as the season went on, I'm telling you, the early breakout we've seen in Amon-Ra St. Brown alone adds a whole new dimension to this offense that nobody would have expected them to have, at least this early. Because while Amon-Ra did have a very solid stretch towards the end of the season last year, there were still some questions as to how quickly he would be able to jump into a wide receiver 1 slot. And of course, we're still early in the season, and Amon-Ra is going to have to continue to impress people as the season progresses. But if his first 2 weeks are any indication of what he's going to continue to do throughout the entire year, I'll just say that this Detroit offense is going to be leaving almost every team they play in awe. And once again, as we already mentioned him earlier in the video, this offense is still just waiting to plug in first-round wide receiver Jameson Williams out of Alabama as well. I personally am counting down the days to see this guy's NFL debut and how the Detroit Lions are going to use it. But even with us discussing almost everything regarding this transformed offense, we definitely cannot go without mentioning the guy at the helm in Jared Goff. Because to keep things short and sweet, Goff has been on a tear to start this season, throwing for 471 yards and 6 touchdowns to just 1 interception. And while these performances are very similar to how Goff finished his 2021 campaign as well, it is absolutely reassuring to almost everyone in Detroit that through your new offensive coordinator, while Jared Goff has also been building chemistry with the majority of the team that returned this season, that, cross your fingers at least, you're unlocking a version of Jared Goff that you will continue to see throughout the remainder of the season and then some. But then aside from the offense that we've pretty much been focused on for this entire video, we definitely cannot go without mentioning the defensive side of the ball as well, because yes, while there is still questions that need to be answered regarding this, there has also been a lot of promise that's been seen, especially regarding collapsing the pocket and rushing the quarterback. But just with some of your standout guys on this side of the ball in Charles Harris, Amani Oruwariye, Jeff Okudah, and even standout rookies that are already making a huge impact on the field in guys like obviously Aiden Hutchinson, but even 6th round pick in Malcolm Rodriguez. While it will sometimes look like some more work is needed on this side, I believe they're in better hands than most people expect. Regardless though, you guys, whether we're having a discussion about the offense or the defense of this Detroit Lions team, while they might not seem like anything crazy to you at least, and this explosive start to the season could very well slow down as some of the weeks go on, I'll just speak for myself that I am definitely not saying that the Detroit Lions are an immediate contender out of what we've seen in just 2 games, but I am trying to say that I think they're going to turn a lot more heads throughout this entire season than some of you might think. But of course, regardless of what my opinion is, as always, I am extremely curious to hear what you all have to think about the situation with the Detroit Lions. So please let me know in the comments, what are your expectations for the Detroit Lions this year after what we've seen from them throughout their first couple of games? And also, what has surprised you the most from what you've seen out of them so far as well? But again, you guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. Because again, brand new NFL content every single week as this wild NFL season goes on, and we're just at the beginning of things, so just trust me, you do not want to miss it. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything, you all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.